about video game characters and stuff. Here's a title screen thing. Stop it. Now, before we begin, we have a very special guest. An actual villain from a video game. You know the one. Tetris meets Resident Evil. Here's the villain. Hey, I'm the villain from the video game Tetris meets Resident Evil. The video game everybody played in their college. Oh gosh. So I was humiliated for being the villain of this video game and getting my ass kicked over and over, and this interview is terminated. Wreck-It Ralph, new movie from Disney, animated. So basically, Wreck-It Ralph is this character in a video game called Fix-It-Felix Jr., which appears to be based on the old Donkey Kong arcade game. Wreck-It Ralph himself appears to be inspired by Donkey Kong, whereas Fix-It-Felix Jr., the hero of the game, I think is based on Mario. So basically, Ralph is tired of being the villain of the game, wrecking stuff. He wants to be a hero. He wants to be loved by the citizens of Niceland, which is where the Fix-It-Felix Jr. Game takes place. And so, within the arcade where Fix-It-Felix Jr. The game cabinet is located, Ralph jumps from game to game, looking for something that can give him, hero status, something that'll make him loved by the citizens of Niceland. So he ends up going to Hero's Duty, which is a first-person shooter type game, and it appears to be based on Halo or something like that. And which there's actually references to Alien in that world, which is kind of funny because it's a Disney movie. Yeah, that reference is clearly for children. Anyway, then he ends up in Sugar Rush, which is a racing game, kind of like Mario Kart, only there's a lot of candy, which reminded me of Candyland. There's all these candy-themed puns. What is this? Some freaking Arnold Schwarzenegger pun fest? We don't need to be reminded that it's a world filled with candy. You could see it. It was actually really nauseating. This Sugar Rush world. It was pink. Very pink. All this candy and candy puns. All kinds of great product placement with Nesquik and Mentos. So anyway, basically, there's Wreck-It Ralph, the main protagonist, who is the villain from the game Fix-It-Felix Jr., this fictional game that they created for the movie. But he meets these actual real-life video game characters from real video games, like, for example, Bowser, obviously from Super Mario Brothers, Sonic the Hedgehog and Dr. Eggman from the Sonic games. Pac-Man is in there. The Orange Ghost from Pac-Man. Puka, the guy from Dig Dug. Ken and Ryu from Street Fighter in there. I think I saw Chun-Li. Anyway, they've got a bunch of video game references. There's all kinds of neat little these little quirks or just homages to video games. Like, some of the video game characters have limited animation as a sort of reference. Oh yeah, they're from old video games which had limited animation, so the characters move in a very limited fashion. It's actually pretty funny how they did that. I've got to say, John C. Reilly plays Wreck-It Ralph, and I've got to say Wreck-It Ralph is a very well designed character, just visually. Even though he's based on Donkey Kong, he's a very appealing looking character. So is Fix-It-Felix Jr. And I think John C. Reilly, who is one of my favorite comedians because of how weird he is, he does a good job as Wreck-It Ralph. Thanks. Anyway, I've gotta say though, the Sugar Rush stuff kind of brought it down a little for me. I think I would have liked this movie a lot more if they stayed more in the Hero's Duty game, because it seemed like they could have done a lot more in that I guess game. Because Fix-It-Felix Jr., as cool as that game looked, it seemed like a very limited game, because it's like, it's an old 1982 arcade game. So at least that's what it was supposed to be for the movie. There's nice little nods and references if you've played old video games, and some more recent ones, I guess. Sonic is from 91. But yeah, I think you guys will enjoy this one. Before I get into the spoilers, I'll give you my rating. 4 out of 5. I think that's pretty fair. Spoilers! The spoiler section is here. So, King Candy, voiced by Alan Tudyk, who was on the show Firefly, great show. Anyway, he turns out to be the villain. Turbo. This is the spoiler section, so yeah. I'm assuming you saw the movie already. Anyway, yeah, he was kind of a lame villain. That was kind of neat that it turned out to be that Turbo guy, but yeah, they should have taken care of that earlier. They waited too long to do that, so it was just kind of dark. How it was like, oh, glitches can't leave their game, and then like if the game is shut down, they die. It was kind of dark for a Disney movie, I guess. What are we talking about? This is Disney. They're known for darkness. Simba's father dying, Bambi's mom. Anyway, it's pretty funny. Anyway, I thought there's some interesting references there. Saw Space Invaders and asteroids. There was an old Star Wars arcade game. I wonder if they put that in there last minute, because Disney, they bought Lucasfilm. There was also a reference to Darth Vader's breathing in one scene. His mask. Clever. I'll give them that. I've got to say though, I really liked the beginning. I thought it was really strong. I loved how like the little nods that they had, like Sonic when he got hit. Rings came out of him. What a nice reference. Thought it was funny how Ken and Ryu, they might have a little relationship that we never knew about behind the scenes. Anyway, I think that's about it. Have a nice life.